Peace. What up, world? Plot in progress. We back at you. Episode number 32. We are
32.
we are privileged tonight to have a very esteemed guest, someone that is very active in the community and has a particular significance to our community, especially during this time period. So I'm definitely enthused to have a conversation with him about his latest venture and how we can support him in that effort. But before we do that, we have our icebreaker for the night. So, like we always do, who spit those bars? All right. So, for those that are not familiar, we like to feature either a verse or a particular bar from a song. And the intent is to see if anyone can identify where that particular verbiage came from, what song, what artist, that type of thing. So I think I got it for tonight. All right. And I think somebody's going to definitely get this one. All right. All right.
You
Who
real quick,
spit those?
Hannibal, you get the first shot at trying to guess, okay?
Indeed.
Please don't give me the first shot.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. So here go the bars. So they made light of my type of dreams seem dumb. They said, wise up. How many guys up? You see making it from here. The world don't like us. Is that not clear? All right, but I'm different. I can't base what I'm going to be off of what everybody isn't. They don't listen, just whispering behind my back. No vision, lack of ambition, so whack. Those are the
Kanye.
bars. Are you close?
Close.
Yeah, you close.
Common?
Nah.
Going off of the cadence, the vibe, and the word choice, who came to my mind was T.I.
Not T.I. East Coast.
East Coast.
Okay.
Five boroughs. Start there.
Nas.
Not Nas, not that borough either.
Queens.
All right.
He's connected to Nas though.
AZ?
Not in that way.
Okay.
Prodigy. No.
I was actually going that. I was gonna go that route, but okay, I don't have to go that route now. Thanks for throwing that out there.
If I give y'all another hit, that's gonna be what it is. They had him and Nas had a clash, man. One for the ages, man.
Oh,
That's JayZ.
Yeah.
I don't remember JayZ dropping bars like that.
Okay,
What
so
track
that's JayZ. That's from the album Blueprint 3. The track is Ambitious.
That's
and
why.
basically, the summary of that song is basically him chronicling when he was a young child and people were stepping on his dreams, basically, and how it's almost like that Last Dance type of energy from Jordan, and he took that personal. Basically, that's that same type of thing. So
about his uncle.
Yeah, so he's talking about his teacher at first, and then he talks about his uncle,
Yeah,
and he just kind of goes from there. So Ambitious, if you're not familiar with that track, definitely check that out for sure. That's one of my favorite JayZ tracks just because of the content, what he was kind of speaking on right there. So that's powerful.
So Hannibal, that's kind of like people taking your signs off.
Indeed. Indeed. So considering that those particular bars, the GOAT or one of the GOATs himself, JayZ, he was speaking from his perspective as a child. I think that's right in alignment with our guest tonight and Brother Hannibal. If you could, just give the listeners a brief introduction about who you are and what your current venture is and how we can support. We're going to get into how we can support and dive into some of the particulars and the challenges of what you are embarking on, but all in the name of faith and good intention. So if you could, I'm going to turn the mic over to you, bro. And let the people know how special you are to the community, brother.
All right, man. Look, let's set the stage right. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in from no, let me stop that. Let me stop. Man, you know, I was taught that, you know, it's in our nature to do good. And we don't remember the good that we do. But it's not in our nature to do bad. That's why we always remember and we can reflect back on those bad things we did in life. So when you ask me to introduce myself, it's always going to be hard because I don't think about all the good that I've done and the good that I do until people tell me about it. My name is Hannibal Muhammad. I was born and raised here in Phoenix, Arizona. I love you brothers. I've done plenty of work with you brothers and been blessed to mount many platforms and work with many youth with you brothers. I grew up here in Phoenix. I worked here in Phoenix. I helped in behavioral health, working with group homes, children. I worked in wealth management, ministry work, community work. It's like trying to think about all the good that I've done is always going to be difficult. But I will say this: I'm a brother. I've always tried to be a brother's brother. I've always tried to be the person that if you need something, I'm going to show up. I'm gonna be there. Whether it's financial, whether it's in person, whether it's a phone call, whether it's sharing a post, I'm that brother that's going to be there. And that's the same mentality I have going into this new endeavor in life. Distinct. Actually, we got a published author in this piece. I'm an author. I'm an author as well. Three books, 4 photo mags, ministry work, community work, and I'm currently running for Roosevelt School District Governing Board, which covers the Southside, South Phoenix, where I grew up at, which is from 40th Street all the way to 35th Avenue to the mountain to the freeway to I-10-60 merger. So it covers, used to be about 20 to 21 schools. Now we're down to 19 schools that are currently open, with the possibility that more schools may have to close based off of enrollment and lack of funding coming into the school district. So my goal and responsibility is to see what I can do to help reconnect the families, the communities, the teachers, education back together, and retention. I know we'll get into that, but just a little introduction about your brother. That's me. I hope that helped.
That's right on point, bro. Brilliant introduction there. Shout out to the South Side, man. I'm a South Sider myself, 16th Street and Southern.
Okay.
That's
New
my stomping
homes.
ground. Yeah,
New
absolutely.
home. Yep.
Absolutely. The first decade of my life was right over in that area. So this conversation is near and dear to me because obviously the Roosevelt School District is, I had firsthand experience with that.
Yes,
So it is good to see someone like yourself taking this sort of leap. You spoke to some of the challenges there, but growing up in South Phoenix, what particular experiences, either then or more recent, has kind of inspired you to run for office in this particular capacity?
Well, if I can be upfront and honest, I was never really into politics, which makes things difficult because this is what I'm in right now. But when God calls you and He sends you on this pathway, either you're going to accept the challenge or you're going to wind up reaping the repercussions of not accepting the challenge He's given you. Me working with children, I've had group homes within Roosevelt School District. I've worked with the principals, teachers. I've watched children go from being considered behavioral children or low income or even getting bad grades to graduating with honors and going off to college and even doing great in life and starting businesses coming out of these group homes where our return home rate was at 700%. Most group homes were struggling to get 1 or 2 children home per year when we're averaging 7 plus per home. So with that effort required me to continue to go this pathway. What has shaped and built me into this is growing up in South. It's hard saying South Phoenix because I know that's more political or that's more of the common term now. But when I was growing up, we called it the South Side. And for the sake of this conversation, I'm gonna call it the South Side. So growing up on the South Side, you've witnessed gangs. I grew up in the eras of the high intensity of gangs. I have friends who did not make it home. I have friends who are locked up because of that activity and being able to go and navigate through all these different communities and have the love and respect from gang leaders, from communities, from organizers has really helped mold me into wanting to do this. Growing up with a single parent, my father was around, but he wasn't in my home. You know, I was a resident of TG Bar. That was the school I was at. And I remember some of my friends would leave class and they would just dip for hours. And I'm like, yo, where y'all going? Like, what y'all doing? And they were like, hey, we go on this bus. We meet up with other students from other schools, and we meet up with these guys. I didn't know what this was. I just knew I wanted to go because my boys was going. So I went to my mother, got a permission slip to find out it was a mentorship program. And some of you brothers know how important that mentorship program is for young men. And because I was going to this mentorship program, I got a chance to work with the Clovis Campbells. And this is in 5th grade. Clovis Campbell, Art Mobley, who was the disc jockey for Magic 107, 106.9 back in the day. I used to work with Cody Williams when he was councilman. I was a junior councilman, and I would go and have meetings with him and talk about stuff going on in the community when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I'm not knowing I'm being molded up into this as a young man just off of my encounters and my relationships that are being established from me being a product of Roosevelt School District. So these were the things that helped mold me into this. Now it's my responsibility to continue to give back and continue to help mold, or what they're saying now, to reinvent Roosevelt so we can make Roosevelt what it should be and what it can be, and also reconnecting Roosevelt from the elementary school to the high schools. So those are some things I look to work on as well.
Brother True, it's on you, bro.
All right, peace. Peace, Hannibal. You mentioned how the district went from like 21 to 19. And I know I spoke to the sister who's in your position, a very bright, beautiful sister, and she has a lot of love for you, brother. I know that y'all disagreed on school choice. So can you
Can we speak on that too?
Yeah, I lean towards your perspective on school choice, but can you speak to that and speak to why you feel the way that you do about it?
Yes, sir. And I'm glad we're speaking on this. I think the sister's a very beautiful spirited sister, and I sit in the board meetings, and I'll say this before I even get started. If elected, I look forward to sitting with her and having a one-on-one, because the challenge is you don't know me, and you're basing a statement or a perspective about me, and that's where you're standing at, but you haven't taken time to get to know me. So when the question is posed, and this is where we deal with, somebody threw out Kanye earlier, and we do what's called sound bites. I feel like she's basing it off of a sound bite. There's a question that was posed: do you believe in school choice? I said yes. However, we skipped the however part. We just took the sound bite. Yes, he believes in school choice. However, I believe in public school first.
Okay.
There's a difference there. Yes, I believe in school choice. I'm gonna break down why I believe in school choice, but I believe in public school first. I think we should give the public school the first opportunity to make that move, to be able to provide. I'm a product of public schools. I know what public school can provide for you. Now, however, this is why I believe in school choice. If I'm going to the public school, you're reducing schools, retention is dropping, you're not getting your enrollment because teachers are overworked, your staff is leaving, you got way too many students in one classroom. You may have students that may need more one-on-one attention, which means that's drawing your teachers or your paraprofessionals away from the other students. You don't have certain programs that may help them in the proper pathway to high school, college, or whatever their parents desire. Them and their parents may be discussing and leading for them. At some point in time, if you're running into these challenges, the public school may not be giving you what you need. So you may have to make that decision to go somewhere else. That doesn't mean I'm against public schools. No, what has happened is similar to the politics of Republicans and Democrats. You split this line. Either you're full Democratic or you're full Republican. But at the end of the day, you got to have both to have balance. So that's where my stance really is. Yes, I believe in school choice because I think the parents and the children have the choice to pick what works best for them. Our responsibility is the children. So they should have the choice of what works best for them. However, I think that the public school should get the first choice. Allow us to try first. And if it doesn't work, then let's go that route. You're paying for it anyway. It's coming out of your taxes. Pay for it anyway, so you might also give the public school a chance. But now we're dealing with a part of it is the community transparency. If you're leaving the public school, before you go, just like you get that survey when you're exiting a service or something, hey, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Why are you leaving? What went wrong? Is there something that I can improve in? You know what? I understand why you're leaving. Would you be willing to give us another semester, another year to see if we can improve in these things? And if we're unable to, then you can exit. Or, hey, thank you for this feedback. This is something we're going to look into. We know we can't change it overnight, but if we're able to get this done and we come back to you and show that we improved in these areas, would you be willing to bring your children, your family back into the district? See, all that gets missed in between that statement of, I do believe in school choice, but I also believe in public school.
It's very important that I follow this up. You said you look forward to a one-on-one, and she did say that if you get elected, she's willing to sit down with you and help train you in certain aspects and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the fact that she was the youngest to get that position and she was a write-in, brother, I feel like you got a good chance to get that, man, because we go door to door like she did and whatnot. And plus, you already got the history.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it. And I want to, and I get it based off of where you're at, where your stance is, what you're looking for. I may not fit it based off what you're thinking, but in my humble opinion, we have way more in common than she knows.
Yeah.
We have way more in common. We want the same thing. We just may have different approaches to get there. It's multiple ways to get to the number 10.
Come on.
Our goal is to get to 10. So we'll get there.
Brother Hannibal, I have a question for you as well. So I know you mentioned that you kind of told the story a little bit about you being molded as a youth and into this journey and not quite being aware of it. But how did you actually get into this particular engagement that you're in now? Like, is that something that you pursued, or did it just happen to come your way, or how did we get to this point today and you running for school board in the Roosevelt School District?
Y'all mind if I bring God into this discussion, because that's the only way I navigate?
Please do.
Thank you. I'm at this stage in life where I'm truly striving to submit to His will.
Yes, sir.
Naturally, you're gonna do your own thing, but I'm striving, especially coming into this year, turning 40 this year, and really wanting to have a stronger foundation with my faith. I'm like, God, I'm striving to submit to you and really walk the path you have for me. Never was thinking about politics. I'm the type of brother that I don't being honest, I'm not a big fan of we need to vote. I'm a fan of you call me, this is what I need. I make some calls, we come running, we get it done. The whole let's see, we gotta vote. That's I understand that's the process. Not a big fan of it. I'd rather just get the job done. So when it comes to me running, I was tapped. Somebody did bring it to me and brought up, I think you'll be a good person for this. And I said, me, politics? Yeah. But going into this year, 2024, the 24th surah of the Holy Quran is Al-Nur, means the light.
Yes, sir.
The light. So me striving to be in the light and be open to how God is navigating me, I said, I'm submitting to whatever your will is, whatever direction you take me, I'm trying to stay open to it. So when that came to me, I told the person, you know what? Before I can even make a decision, I got to bring this to God. And I'll see what He wants me to do. And I'll let you know. So in my mind, I'm thinking I won't have an answer for at least a week. Just being honest. And I came to God and I made my prayer, and it was, and we make our 5 daily prayers, and it was my migrate prayer, my third prayer of the evening. No, my fourth prayer of the evening.
Yes, sir.
And during that prayer, I called on to God and I asked him, I said, look, I don't have to do this. I want to submit to you. But whatever you want me to do, I ask this one question of you. Can you let me know tonight? And can you make it blatantly obvious, whatever the decision is, that I will know tonight and I will submit to it? And I went and took care of some business situations happened in my interactions. And I said, oh, was that the sign? And then I was sitting at home reflecting, and I started asking the question. I got another sign. I said, oh, Allah, I submit. This is what you want me to do. This is what I'm going to do. And from that point on, I've been in this race that they call it, this campaign, which is a dirty game. And you're striving to walk a clean pathway in a dirty game where it's obvious you have white on, and they're trying to dirty you up. So that's what got me into it. And even in this, I'm still asking God, how do you want, what do you want me to do in this? And even me being in these meetings and me listening, I'm seeing where I can help at, and how things I've done in my life leads and guides it or helps in the pathway of this. So I'm just continuing to submit. So for me, win or lose, I'm still a winner.
Yes, sir.
I stepped out on faith and I'm moving on how he wants me to move. And win or lose, as I met with the superintendent, as she meets with every candidate as we get close to the general election, look, win or lose, wherever I can do the help, I want to help, because I want to see not Roosevelt as just the district of Roosevelt, but our community, our Black and brown, our Black and Latino community come together and really be able to function. Phoenix was known, the Southside was known as the heart of Phoenix. But I don't hear a heartbeat. It's kind of vague. I want that strong heartbeat to come back. So whatever I can do to help out in that area, that's what I want to do. But I hope I answered your question, man.
Yes, sir, you did. And I'm excited to cast my vote for you this year, brother. Absolutely. Thank you for even taking on that responsibility and that call. Yes, sir.
Hey, I got a question for you, and it's kind of a line with what you just said about the South Side being the heartbeat of Arizona. I'm also a native. I grew up in the Maryville area.
Okay.
But that's what it was. The South Side was always like our Mecca. When I really wanted to go be around my people, I already knew where I had to go. And so when you talk about being the heartbeat, you notice that there's been a migration. There's still some grandmas that still got the house, and some aunties that have moved into the house, but a lot of us have kind of moved on to the East Valley, and we moved on to the West Valley and different parts of the valley. What would you say would be maybe 2 or 3 things that need to change in order to bring people back? Because I remember that it was the 90s that caused this migration. All of the violence that you would experience, on some of these corners, man, I think pushed a lot of people out. And so now that you have the shift in culture, the shift in mindset of those of us who survived that and made it out of that and stood tall, what are some things that you think need to change there in order for us to say, okay, well, it is time to come back?
It's at the end of the day, great questions. At the end of the day, it's going to have to be a change of mindset. And there's 3 stages of development, or 3 stages of launching a business, right? You have the early stage where, let's say this is the meeting. We want to start a business. You have that infant stage, and we're talking about it and we're trying to figure out how we're going to do it. Then you have the next stage where you start bringing certain people in that's going to help take it to the next level. Then you have the stage of, I have to see it be successful stage. Then I will invest and come into it. Most people function from the I have to see it be successful stage. So in order to get people to come back into the South Side or into South Phoenix, they have to see the success come out of it. So here's something that came to my mind even before you got to that question. When I think about Roosevelt has a grade average it's a D grade average based off of 2-3 different websites I've been to, just trying to gather an understanding. There's maybe 1 school that has a average is a A, 2-3 schools that average a B. If Roosevelt School District was to become the top performing in all categories in the state, you don't think people want to start coming back into the South Side? Because let's think about it. I have children. Do you have children? Are you not looking for the best schools for your children? That's usually how, when we move, we look at that. What's the schools like? What's the commute to work? What's the environment like? What's the crime level? So if we're able to show that there's proper support, the grades are the school systems are amazing, our children are prospering. We got support from the different organizations that are coming in, small, medium, or large, and it becomes, like you mentioned earlier, that mecca. Well, what is a mecca? It's a vibrant environment. If you've ever been to Hajj, what do you see? Men and women circling the Kaaba, and there's a certain energy that takes place during that time, where we can make the South Side that place where you want to come and congregate.
Yeah.
Where the police drive by and they not driving by to pull you over. They driving by to stop and celebrate with you. That's what you want to do. So in order to bring people back, we have to, one, increase the revenue back in this environment, the businesses, the opportunities, and make and break the stigma of the South Side. That's really what's killing us. There is still a lagging stigma where people are like, "Oh, you from the South Side? Oh, this is something you heard from the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s." But crime, yes, crime is everywhere. But when was the last time you really heard about crime on the South Side?
Right.
We're still dealing with that stigma. We have to break the stigma. So our mentality should be, I want to break the stigma. We talk about breaking generational curses. Let's break that generational curse. Roosevelt School District, I'm not going to give a fact on it, but I'm going to give an estimate of it. Should be averaging 20,000 plus students enrolled every year. They're averaging 7,000 to 8,000. That's a decline. But if we're able to improve that and increase that, and that goes into the retention, we'll get to that part whenever you want to talk on that. But that's how we improve these areas. We have to give back into our community. What happened is we go out everywhere else because everywhere else looks better. They built up Levine, no disrespect to Levine. They built up Goodyear, they built up Avondale, they built out Buckeye. They gave us these nice fabricated homes. Where the South Side got brick homes. Let's be honest, the South Side got brick homes. We sold our houses on the low, and then we tried to come back and they doubled the price up. So you can't afford it now. These brick historical homes, they're technically historical homes now. You can't even afford them. Property value went down. As soon as we left, people came in, property value started going up. We can't afford it. So how do you come back when I can get a home? Let's go pre-COVID. I could get a home in Avondale or Goodyear or something, 4 or 5 bedroom, 3 bath, 200,000. But if I wanted to get a house that was a 2, 3, 1,300 square foot, it's gonna cost me 250,000, 300,000. I might as well go here if I'm gonna save the money. So let's not act like there's not hidden hands keeping us from being in our environment. Great question.
No, for sure. Absolutely. I agree. I mean, I definitely believe that education has to be at the forefront because you mentioned it. As a father, I don't want to send my kid to an underperforming school, and I definitely don't want to send him to a school where I got to worry about his safety more than I got to worry about the education he's going to receive. And what's important also in making that decision was it's like, well, how do I give him, and I don't want to use the term diversity. How do I get him in a situation where you go to school with kids that look like you, but education is still valued and it's important. Yes. And so obviously education definitely has to be at the forefront. And you hinted at some other things. So now I appreciate you for answering that question the way that you did, for sure.
Excellent. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was great. And I think you made a very good point about the significance of education in regard to families choosing particular areas of the city to settle. And especially when you consider Phoenix has become such a landing spot for transplants. And what do you do when you move to a new city and you have a family? You're looking for the best school district. So I think that's a very pertinent point that you made there. And with that being said, how do you envision partnering with local organizations and perhaps reaching out to secure grants and things of that nature to enhance curriculum, bring in more extracurricular activities, after school programs, and while simultaneously preparing students to compete globally. You know, when we were younger, and maybe I'm a little out of touch, but I feel like after school programs, things of that nature, it was just it was prevalent. You know, people had things that they can do after school, right, to stay occupied. And in my mind, or in my vision, I should say, it just it doesn't seem as prevalent, you know, whether it be band or, you know, flag or, you know, sports, whatever the case may be. There's obviously a lot of local organizations, some of which we've all been a part of in some capacity. And, you know, funny to mention, that's how a lot of us know each other. I think for the most part, that's how we all know each other collectively, is through community work. How do you see leveraging some of those efforts from local communities to enhance the Roosevelt School District?
I'm gonna pose a question back, then I'll answer it after you answer this question. What if I told you the district wants help? And they want community organizations to come and help. You say I said that, right? Here's my question. Did you know that?
I did not.
No.
See, so what that tells you right there, there's a breakdown in communication. They want help, but there's a breakdown. Or I want help, but how do I get to the help? And I'm going to the same resources every time that can only do so much. So part of my goal is to connect the resources, to go find them. And one of the best ways to do that is to be transparent. Look, our grades are low right now. This is what we're dealing with. This is where we're at. This is what our goals are. We're looking to do this, and that. This is what we need from you to be able to be successful. I'm telling you this up front, and I want you to understand, you're not going to see a return of your investment, ROI, in the first 6 months to a year. It may take 5 to 10 years before you really see it, but you will notice that there's interest happening within the process. So my goal is to go out. One thing, you know, as True brought up, I don't mind going and knocking on doors. I don't mind going to talk to people. Look, my name is Hannibal. I'm on a student governing. I'm on the governing board for Roosevelt School District. We're looking to get some help. And the funny part, the people I've spoke to, the main thing they've said is, I've been trying to figure out how I can help. I'm trying to figure out how to connect there, but it seems to be blockage on me being able to get to the campus and get to people. Because at the end of the day, if we're short on funding, how do you? I'm gonna give an example. You have a family. You got to cook dinner, but you don't have a lot of money to cook. But you're in an environment where everybody's family. So you might bring the cornbread, you might bring the greens, you might bring the ribs, you might bring this, and we all come and sit outside and we barbecue and we eat together as a community. But if you don't know, because I locked myself in my house, that me and my family are struggling, and I don't know that you and your family is struggling, and you got some items that we can all eat off of each other, then at the end of it, we're struggling by ourselves. That doesn't have to happen. So my goal is to reach out to the different communities. As I've spoke to Bilal, I said, bro, I said, look, if I'm on, I may not be able to vote for you to be able to do it, but my thing is, you have a mentorship program, and we got young men and women that's going to need some support. Parents are working. Parents are tired. Parents need help with their young men and women. Hey, I got 6 mentorship programs that are willing to come in and they're not charging, or they got grant money to come and help. Can we now bring them in? Because that alone, what I've learned working in group homes is, if you can build the trust of the children, they get comfortable. If you create the right environment for the children, their grades improve, they're happier, they get what they need, they retain what you're teaching them, and then you watch them prosper. But if there's a disconnect there and they still feel like they're not getting what they need, then there's always going to be the problem. So the way I plan on doing that is to go out, go and talking, going and reaching out. Because I look at it like, we'll say gambling. I don't gamble, but we'll look at the odds of a regular gamble. If I'm trying to handle something, the odds of a yes or no answer is 50%. Those are great odds. I could deal with those odds any day. It's either a yes or a no. And if it's a no, I can follow up. When can we talk about this again? Can we revisit this in 6 months? Can we revisit this in a year when things are a little bit different? And it may go from a no to a maybe. Cool, I can work with a maybe. Can we revisit this in 3 months? That maybe might turn into a yes. That yes may say, hey, I wish I could get 50,000, but I could do 10,000, and we'll take the 10. And then we'll see how we can navigate that 10 to provide the resources we need. I hope I answered your question, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do want to piggyback off that because you mentioned
I'm vegetarian, brother. We can camelback.
No
pork on my fork, brother. No pork on my fork.
Oh man, that's good. That's good. You on your toes. Parents. I feel like parent engagement has always been a challenge in regard to education. And perhaps more prevalent now because things are just so much more challenging. Children are that much more distracted, and you have a lot of parents that feel disconnected due to their daily obligations. They may be working multiple jobs. They may be subject to long commutes, things of that nature. How do you see, or is there any type of mechanisms that you are aware of that could perhaps give parents a sense of being a little more connected to the efforts that are taking place in our schools?
What I would say to that first is finding time to really address that with parents. What is the disconnect? Because it may vary per person, per household naturally, but if we can find a common ground on what causes it. Sometimes the disconnect could be something as simple as you do all these awards during school and I'm at work. So I got to leave work, which means I'm losing money and I'm barely making ends meet to come to this. But as a teacher, as an educator, I don't want to stay all night if I don't have to when I've been at work all day. So trying to find that even ground. There's a story I like to tell, but it's hard to tell it now based off of what has happened with this individual, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. When I grew up, one of the biggest Black TV shows was The Cosby Show. And there was this one episode where Rudy was making fun of one of her classmates. He was a boy and he was a dancer. And the teacher called home. And Claire caught the call in the kitchen, mother, and Cliff caught the call in the family. There's 3 people on this call. This is different than how it is now. Now, if a teacher calls the parent cusses out the teacher because the parent looks at the teacher as the babysitter, and why are you calling me? Because I'm at work. So the way we look at it, parenting in the relationship is different now anyway. But at this point in time, this is what happened. Teacher called, they got on the phone, they're speaking. She brings her concerns. They didn't get upset with her. They listened to the concerns. And the concern was, look, she's being disruptive in class. She made fun of the students. She made them feel a certain way. Boom, 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 boom. And then they came together and said, well, how should we resolve this? And the decision that was made was Rudy had to go to his dance classes and learn the routine and do a performance with the young man. This is that episode when you see Cliff out there tap dancing or dancing with that one jazz dancer and stuff. This is that episode. But because the parents and the teacher work together for one common goal, which is to improve the behavior of the child and to show the child how you should really conduct yourself and how to respect other people's culture and other people's ways of life. It was a very valuable lesson for me. That's how I see stuff when I'm navigating. How can I tie the parents and the teachers together where we're not bumping heads about the child and you're not taking offense if I'm pointing out some behaviors, but I'm also not taking shots at you trying to say it must be something going on in the home. No, these are the things I've picked up. These things we're working on with them. We're asking if you can help us because we want him or her to be successful. And I think if we start there, being able to be transparent, but also be considerate of each other. You know, it's like Kanye said, we're artists. We're sensitive about we're parents. We're sensitive about our children. So if we can find a way to talk to each other and be able to be on the same page, then at that point, we're able to look and we're able to have these conversations and say, hey, I want to be more involved. However, this is what I'm running into. You're having these activities during this time of the day, and I feel like I don't get to see my child prosper. Is there anything else we can do that allows me to be engaged? And it might even be something as simple as, like we're doing right now on this platform, we set up a Zoom, and the parents are able to watch their children participate from a Zoom, and they're given an opportunity to come off of mute and shout and cheer for their child, and their child can hear their parents' name or hear their parents' voice, or they may see their parents' picture pop up on the screen. At least that gives that child joy to know their parent was there. It might be that simple. You can't leave work, but I can give you this, and that still keeps you connected. Sorry for being long-winded, man. I'm a little full.
No, that's right on point. Any other questions, y'all?
I just wanted to add on to what you were saying about bringing more resources to the South Side, and the brother Israel Roops is having the Unity in the Community this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Saying on the with the 26th. Yeah, brother, you gonna be there?
You know what? I plan to be there.
Okay, cool.
I plan to be there. I got a lot of things planned on that day, but I plan to be there because that's our brother. Mm-hmm. You know, whether I'm coming there as vote for Hannibal, or I'm coming just as Hannibal, that's our brother. So we should be there anyway.
Thanks.
So
yes, sir.
Yeah, you made some really good points about the joint effort, the collaboration that needs to occur with the parents and the teachers. And as a parent, I will admit that's something that we definitely have to do due diligence on and be conscious of the challenges that our teachers face in this climate. Teacher retention, that's a huge issue for public schools in today's society. And a lot of people are actually disenchanted with the idea of becoming a teacher. I know various people that actually wanted to teach at some point, and they made a sharp pivot just due to the economics of it, right? So when you consider those that are actually committed to this role and the challenges with funding, behavior issues, and everything else that you've spoken to, man, what can we do as a community to support our teachers and to reinvigorate the pride of being a teacher?
It's a great question. Let's work it this way. I come from wealth management as well. So can somebody get a calculator for me? Let's have some fun and run. That's what I'm saying.
Old school.
That's what I'm saying. Let's run some numbers. Let's say for each student, the state grants $20,000 a year for each student to go into the school district, right? And they don't get paid until the 101st day. This is when the school gets the money, the district gets the money, right? So let's say for $20,000, so let's say 20,000, let's say there's 8,000 students that enrolled. Give us the grand total for the year, what they made.
160 million.
160 million. Sounds like a lot of money, right? But if you're paying over 1,000 staff and everybody's paid at different levels, 160 million is not a lot of money. Now let's do this. If the district is supposed to be at its optimum, let's say 20,000 students should be enrolled. I just said 8. That's 60%, a 60% decline. Let's say 20,000 students at the same 20,000 a year per student. What are we looking at?
You said 20,000 students?
20,000 students.
400 million.
And what was the other number? 160?
160.
What's that? 340 million more?
240.
Is it 240? 241? Thank you. 240 million more? That makes a big difference, right? So one of the biggest challenges is enrollment is low. If enrollment's low, I can't pay you like I want to pay you. I can't bring in extra staff. This is where, to be honest with you, True, this is where me and the sister, we bump, but we're not bumping for this. But this is why I understand why she has a strong stance. Because in her head, which at least my viewpoint, what she's thinking is, I'm saying it's okay for them to leave. No, I want them in the district, but I understand why they're leaving. Which means now we got to look in the mirror. What are we doing wrong that our enrollment is at 8,000 instead of 20,000? Now this is the first year it was up in comparison. We're still in the red, but this is the first time you can say we're stopping the bleeding. So it's going up, but it's from 7,000 to 8,000 or 750 to 8,000. It's still low. So now if we want to see retention, we have to address what's causing people to leave on all levels. When was the last time you actually acknowledged the janitor? When everybody left for the day, who's cleaning the custodians? Who's cleaning up the school? The security guards. We talk to teachers. They're very important. Absolutely. We have to take care of them too. But there's other areas that are not getting what they need as well. So now we have to figure out how do we be transparent enough to address the issues and allow the parents, allow the community to see we're working on it so that you'll have the grace with us to get there. If I told you, hey, I'm not perfect, I'm making mistakes, I'm trying to fix it, are you a little more lenient to work with me compared to me saying, hey, it is what it is? Oh, no, I'm out this piece then. Nah, fine then. You don't want to even address the fact that you're messing up? Then I'm going to leave. So us addressing, hey, we know there's a problem. We're working on it. Same thing with the staff. Hey, I know that I have you in a classroom with 35, 40 students. It's only supposed to be 15 to 20. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. This is the things that we're putting in place to try to resolve it. It might become getting fingerprint clearance cards, going through certain trainings, and bringing in community leaders to come and support and help in the classroom in certain ways. It might be volunteer based. It might be an internship program out of the early school development in the colleges. You earn your hours by putting in a certain amount of hours at the schools and getting hands-on and learning. It might be that. These are ways that you save money because you're not having to kick out. How many times has our children come to, what time is it? It's 8:30. Mom, Dad, we got this event tomorrow at school, and I need you to buy us this. We pissed. But now we have to go to Target, Walmart. We trying to see what store is still open. But do we not get it? Why do we get it? We got a lot of reasons why we get it, but some of the main reasons because we don't want our children to feel left out, and we want to make sure our children know that we do care about what they're trying to do at school, and we want them to be happy to go to school and know their parents support them. It's the same thing. You can help improve retention if we're able to show that there's an issue, we're able to address it, and we're able to bring individuals in to help with the process. But I've talked to you about this. Let's say the mentorship program, we're able to bring you and a team in certain days of the week. And now those same students that may be behavioral children or not even behavioral, who just looking to grow, they're able to step out of the classroom, spend an hour or two with you. That shortens the classroom a bit. That gives the teacher a relief a little bit. And now it's like, oh, thank you. That little piece might have a big impact on that teacher or that staff not leaving in the middle of a shift. I'll yield there.
Yeah, and it gives the students a break as well.
It gives the student a break.
You know, some that we all know is that, especially with young boys, I mean, the sitting down and just kind of being stationary and just getting blasted with information is not conducive to any ideal level of retaining or learning, I should say, you know? So yeah, I think those type of initiatives would be awesome. And, you know, something that I thought about when you were speaking about a solution, right? as far as increasing the enrollment, that would also perpetuate more diversity in the teaching staff. You know,
Yes.
something that is really apparent to me when I was younger, um, I remember a multitude of male teachers, and not just male teachers, Black men.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I don't see that. I mean, it's rare. It is rare. But there were a few particular teachers that had a really um,
Major
just
impact.
a pronounced effect on me, not only because they were Black men, but at that time, they were Black men of the same community that I was a part of.
Yes.
So they knew my father, they knew my
Yep.
uncle.
Mm.
Yep.
You know what I
Community.
mean?
You're able to
So
identify with them.
yeah, it hit different. And
Yes.
if I was getting out of pocket, he was calling my name with a certain familiarity
Yes.
that let me know, hey, you know, I know, yo,
Yes.
people, you know what I'm saying? So it's like even that dynamic has a way of just reinforcing the authority that is necessary in the classroom. And it's unfortunate that our children today don't benefit from that same dynamic as much. So
Absolutely.
I truly hope that, yeah, we can increase those numbers in the Roosevelt School District and other public school districts as well, so that our schools at least have the option to attract those type of individuals to step into those roles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like one of my goals, and I'll yield. One of my goals is to go to the professional sport teams, because do they not name environments, name parks, name this? Do they not fund certain things? But I also know if you look at it like a business plan, it's hard to go and ask for money when you're failing as a business. But if you're able to show, hey, we're under new management, we have this in place, these are the things we're working on to improve, and we want to make this, and we want to create a partnership. Would you guys be willing to come out once a year and we get to meet the players, meet the coach? Would you be willing to put on? I was talking to some of the teachers this past weekend at a breast cancer and domestic violence event, and I asked them, I said, one of my goals, and I want to know, do y'all do this at the end of the year? Do you ever bring all the schools together where all the children get to participate, like an Olympics or something, and have a fun day and everybody's there and they get to know each other? The eighth grade versus the seventh grader, this school versus this school. You're mixing everybody up. Something as simple as that. They're like, no, we ain't never did that, but we got the space for it. Now imagine we did that and we brought out the Arizona Cardinals and they sponsored that event.
Yeah.
And you're going back telling your parents about it, and then they're telling their friends about it. You don't think they want to bring out no other start trying to bring their children into that school district when they know these things are happening now?
I just quickly wanted to add one more thing to that list of solutions that would it would also help with the as you mentioned with the parents. So just the parent involvement should increase as well. It should be more of a requirement for enrollment as well. Like there has to be so many hours that you're also volunteering. That helps create
Mm.
that village
Yes.
that we were talking about. Because if you put more parents around your children's friends, you start putting those parents around them and even putting them in the classroom and giving them a better understanding of what the teachers are going through, that now we're starting to get back on the same playing field. So that would be one solution that I would like to see, and not just the Roosevelt district, but all districts around.
Yes.
And it helps keep the parents more accountable also, because now they don't have that option to blame everything on the teacher. Hey, you were in here, you seen how it goes, you've
Yes.
had an opportunity even to assist in this. So where could the complaining come from?
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it.
You got me a flashback with that one, bro. Remember when the parents could pull up and sit in the classroom?
Yeah.
Woo! It's happened to
Nah,
me a
hey
couple
man.
Hey, it better
times.
be for the right reason.
Hey, my mom and my grandma worked at my school growing up, man, in elementary. My grandmother worked at the crosswalk and my mama worked at the cafeteria door, man. So anytime I got out of line, they ain't have to go far. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Oh, yes.
And now when you look back on it though, in a sense, I'm pretty sure it feels like a blessing though. Like
Yes.
some children missed out on that opportunity to have that. You know what I mean?
For sure. For sure. But you know what it is that it creates this value system. I thought that was the norm. So when my son, they became school age, I'm at every event. It don't matter what it is. PTA, dad volunteer. When he was in kindergarten, I was teaching kids how to tie ties. Like, I just thought that that's what it meant to be a parent, was you are also involved in what they're doing at school, man. And so that's just kind of how we pass down tradition as you see it done. So then you therefore in turn do it. I just want to ask you one quick question. I know we're getting close on time, but it's kind of along the lines about curriculum. I know a lot of parents that in recent years have decided to pull their kids out of the school system for the sake of homeschooling, because they feel like that the curriculum that's being offered doesn't really give them the best chance to be set up for success in life. It may be the best chance to set up for whatever the school system or these greater hands have in mind for our children. But a lot of people have kind of chosen to take their kids out. And a hot button topic that you hear a lot now, especially in politics and in education, is critical race theory. And I know that you were in the midst of a campaign. And so if you could just kind of touch on that a little bit, maybe not. But I would definitely, brother, or we could chat about this offline too. But I'd love to hear a little bit of your thoughts about this topic, man.
I strive not to run from any subject. If I don't have an answer, I'm gonna be honest. I don't have an answer to it. When it comes to the curriculum, let's identify first what goes into that curriculum. One of the main things that takes place with that curriculum: standardized testing. Mm-hmm. And because of standardized testing, you have limited the curriculum. And when you're looking at schools that are failing overall, districts that are failing, your focus becomes, we just got to pass this test. So it's like being in survival mode. You can't be creative when you're in survival mode and you're not hitting your numbers. So what we have to do first is get the students to that. But to do that, you do need to add in those other aspects of their culture. So they have to learn critical race theory. They need to learn. We have to teach them history. We have to teach them culture. Everybody's not from the Southside. Everybody's not from Phoenix. Everybody's not Black. But I would love to know about different cultures if I'm in the school. Oh, that's why you dress like this. That's why you do this. Hey, it says that Muslims make 5 prayers, but you don't never leave class to go make prayer. Why is that? But once you start learning the reason why they're not leaving, because of whatever that reason is, it's like, well, teacher, how do we implement this? So I do think those components need to be implemented, but I also understand why it may not. Now imagine, we're asking the teachers to add on more workload with less pay, failing classrooms, disconnected parents, and behavioral children. We have to work that out so that we can bring in the curriculum to it. And it may be set up in a way where, hey, the teacher may not be able to teach it, but you sign this permission slip and I have this mentorship or this program that's going to come in and they're going to be teaching these subjects, but we want to make sure you're okay with your child learning it. If not, they'll be over here during that time period. And then they're able to learn these things and it's approved and the district is aware of what's being taught and we work it out that way. It may have to start there first, because it's like you talk about homeschooling and bringing into charter schools. What do? Sometimes they bring in other people to teach those subjects that they're not familiar with teaching. That may be the same program we may have to do in the district as well. Great question.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. I have one final question. Do we have anything else that the brothers want to get to Brother Hannibal, or?
Just how is the response coming to your campaign, brother? Is it resonating with the community? Or do you feel you're getting the support that you need and whatnot?
It's resonating very well. I've gone through a lot. I'll hit that real quick, but it's resonating. Those who are aware, the community that's aware. I mean, even when I'm, during the summer knocking on doors, getting signatures, the fact that I was out in 118 degree weather, they're like, you're out here knocking on mine. I'm voting for you. I'm voting for you. So that's been very, very great. The challenge is they've challenged my signatures. They've questioned my, my affiliation to the minister and the nation as being a Muslim, which this is a non, you've taken religion out of school. So I don't know why we're having this discussion. I've had signs removed as I'm driving in areas. I see signs I put up have been taken down, which means the money that that's funding friends and family that's funding, they're ripping the money away. So that means I have to go raise more money to replace the signs, but it's also a sign that I'm doing something right if my signs are being taken down and not other signs. There's 3 slots open. There's 7 of us running 2 sets of 3s. I'm the only one that's not running with a group. So if I'm on, I automatically split whatever's going to happen. So I'm a thorn in your side. So, but it's coming along. It's a process. I'm learning a lot on this, but I can use, volunteers who want to go and hit some doors with me. I can use more funding so I can get more signs out, so I can put up more digital advertising or marketing materials. But overall, it's coming along. I'm learning so much. It's draining, but I'm learning so much, and I'm thankful for what I've learned in life to be able to implement it into this.
Well, I seen your sign today, brother, on 40th Street and Broadway, man. So I know it's there. I was trying to get a picture of it, but I was also driving at the same time, which I shouldn't be doing. But
they took mine on 40th Street and baseline off. Somebody snatched it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's all right. It's just a sign. Keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, hopefully they took it home as like a souvenir or something. They just proud. They're like, yeah, I gotta have my own sign.
They gonna wait after election to be like, my bad, bro.
Taking pictures and everything. I got mine.
Hey, Brother Hannibal, can you say the website?
Yes, sir. For all supports, if you want to volunteer, you want to make donations, you can visit vote4hannibal.com. Vote the number 4, not the number sign, pound sign, but 4hannibal.com. So we're voting for Hannibal. And if you want to make any donations outside of that, you want to go straight through Zelle, same one, vote4hannibal@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Fostering future leaders, man. Fostering future leaders.
Awesome. Well, that pretty much covers my last question. I was going to ask for that information as far as how people can support, but you've covered that pretty well, man.
And come to the meetings.
Okay.
Come to the meetings. Come out to the board meetings. We're not there. Okay. So we're missing the conversation. Come to the board.
That's probably the biggest one.
That is a big.
Is that advised to people who don't live in the district as well, or
doesn't matter?
Okay,
come, because whatever's happening in this district doesn't mean it's not happening in yours. So it's the first Tuesday of every month, and based on what's going on, they may have 2-3 meetings that month, but the main one is the first Tuesday every month at 5:30.
Okay,
and the district is right there on 7th Street in Southern.
First Tuesday of every month. That's a call to action for the community.
Let's go.
Y'all heard it. No excuses now.
Yeah.
So especially if you live within the district, it's in your best interest to see the school district thrive.
And vote yes for Roosevelt. Vote yes for Roosevelt.
Vote yes, y'all. That's what it is. Man, what a privilege, man. I appreciate all the information, brilliant responses. You didn't dodge no questions. Like you said, you're not doing that. So in this particular game, that is definitely advantageous because people like to throw those curveballs. But I think for the most part, when I talk amongst family, friends, other parents, the common concerns were addressed tonight as far as how you kind of see these being rectified and, milestones that need to be achieved so that things can improve. So much appreciated. And we look forward to you winning that seat, brother. And also when you're in that seat, we're looking forward to the community galvanizing every agenda, every initiative, every public appearance, every board meeting, every PTA.
Yes.
Showing up, being an additional voice to echo and to reconfirm and to further emphasize everything that needs to happen for our children. So yeah, God bless you for even stepping into this space. I know a lot of people don't even have the tolerance level to put up with some of the challenges that you just expressed.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that is awesome, man. I'm very appreciative for someone like yourself.
I appreciate you, brothers. Thank you for the time. Thank you for considering the man. Thank you for skinning your little brother on this call, man. I appreciate
Man,
you.
how can we not?
Come on, man.
And I just want to acknowledge you, brother, for answering the call to service to another level, because during this election cycle, in this election season, politics is like, it's, to me, it's more resounding than ever.
Yes.
And the conversation needs to continue to be, not only do we need to go out there and vote, but more of us need to step up and answer the call and say, how can I serve? Because getting into politics is about service. I know that it's become a game where people can get paid and you can earn a living and you can make a career out of it and, you know, have corporations in your pocket. But at the end of the day, politicians are called to serve. And all my interactions with you have always been in the community. I've always seen the level of respect and admiration that some of my peers have for you. And so I've always been in support of anything that you're doing, brother. But I just really wanted to thank you for taking the call, and answering the call, and stepping up to it, man. So however I can help and support, brother, understand that I pledge that to you.
I appreciate it. Can I give 3 points real quick?
Absolutely.
I don't believe in coincidence. Which episode is this?
32.
32.
The Maasai 10 out here is the 32nd. The Maasai 32nd surah of the Holy Quran is the adoration. Second point. There's advisory boards that they have, and I was talking to superintendent about that. Once I get the dates and times of it, that's another way you can get involved.
Okay.
So let's get on these boards. Let's get on these advisory boards. Let's get on these focus groups so that we're there and we're able to help determine how the district is moving. If we're not there, we can't get mad for how they're navigating. And even whoever you're voting for, I respect it. But local votes is what really makes a difference in our community.
Yeah.
So I'll yield there. And I thank you again, brothers, so much for your time and allowing me to be on this platform with you guys.
All in the name of community. So that brings it full circle to the theme of what we do on this particular platform. You want to take us out, True?
Certainly. Our mission at the Growth Spot, we are unified in action to build, protect, and expand a fruitful legacy of love, equity, growth, ancestry, cooperation, and yield. Brother Hannibal, the Growth Spot is looking forward to giving those teachers a break whenever they need it and come in and speak to the students. You feel me?
Perfect.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Peace.
Peace and blessings.
Thank you, brother. Peace.
Thank you, brothers. Peace.